Tradwest is one of the largest dissident right influencers on the internet at the moment, with thousands of followers across YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram. They routinely post memes about the living a sort of traditional masculine life and following Christ and rejecting the modern world and all that, sort of stuff. Not that this is at all bad, but necessarily, but when it's the same post every day after day after day after day after day of the same stuff, like say Christ is King, homeschool your kids, eat red meat, with the Wojak and Chad templates, it gets really old really fast, and there is no real intellectual side to it. But what is bad is the memes about resisting lust and porn, which by itself is not bad, but then posting girls in dresses, in old, style European dresses, simply for their beauty rather than for any actual purpose they might serve in a traditional society, which is clearly inspired by lust as well. But they feel better about it because she isn't in a bikini. This is most common, of course, on X and Instagram, but compared to pages that actually intertwine these memes with historic lessons about life, religion, and culture like Tribal Europe, Chad Pastoralist, Papers Junta, and Caesar Australis, it's all just a bit empty. Yes, I understand they've got like a membership thing when you DM the account Brotherhood and they help you become a man and whatnot, but it's not at all unique. Plenty of right-wing groups do that already. And there's also the incessant merch plugging on every single post. You will buy the merch, and you will be happy. But this is not my main critique at all. My main critique is that with Tradwest is the promotion of running away into a farm with your big titty trad wife and have 8 gorillion kids and homeschooling, and hiding them away from society just like the Amish. Now, this is a very utopian vision, and is not by itself bad, but the issue I have with it is fundamentally defeatist. It is fundamentally about running away from a modern leftist society and starting a new life where the degeneracy can't touch you. However, this doesn't work, and to give you an example, I will draw a comparison to one of my favourite films, A History of Violence from 2005. In this movie, Viggo Mortensen plays a quiet restaurant owner in a small little town in rural Indiana until 2 men try to rob the diner and kill him and the people inside it. Viggo's character, called Tom, kills them, but it then draws a group of mafia men from Philadelphia to come to town and get Tom, who they believe is a man named Joey Cusack who used to work for them. It does turn out that Tom is Joey after he ran away from Philadelphia after getting into a turf war with the boss in the mob. Joey then has to return to Philadelphia, but it leaves his life in tatters as it messes up his marriage and has a clear effect on his children. Now, I'm not at all suggesting that people who want to run away to a farm and have a religious and traditional sort of life are all former mafia hitmen. But what I am saying is that even if you run from something, it'll find you eventually, especially with progressive culture and post-sexual revolution norms dominating every aspect of government, media, law enforcement, and the workforce. It will find its way to you eventually if all you do is run and hide. The West is being replaced by third world immigrants at an alarmingly quick rate, and eventually those immigrants are going to move inland and into rural areas once they've totally dominated the big cities. And then what's the plan? It's like white flight. No matter where you run, diversity comes for you regardless. It's cowardly. It essentially admits that there is no hope for wider society, and the West is pretty much doomed. Nothing can be done, when this is far from the case. If you are true to these traditional values, you should be out there marching for these causes, getting together as a community and networking across your country or region like Patriot Front, or another group in Australia who I probably can't talk about right now, or this video will get nuked, but you probably know who they are. Even if that is not your style, you can infiltrate places of power in the workplace or community, or change the culture to a more conservative and religious type, which takes time, but is still a viable strategy. Yes, it's not guaranteed to work, but enough people band together, it just might work. And if you truly have faith in God's plan, you should believe that you will be seen through by Him. Additionally, this sort of trad farm lifestyle is legitimately impossible in most countries right now. I'm not going to get too much into it, but if you look around about how farmers get treated in America or Australia or Europe, you can see it's not at all nice. I'll bet if you're watching this video, you probably saw the big tractor protests in Europe and Jeremy Clarkson leading the farmers in a protest in England not too long ago. It is almost impossible for a farmer to make a profit, even in the hands of a family who have owned it for generations upon generations. Imagine how tough it would be for a new family with a non-farming background to just buy a farm, which is also next to impossible just because of how expensive it is, but also because they don't have the experience needed to run a farm. What's more is that it is bloody selfish. These posts always talk about raising your kids on these farms and teaching them at home instead of at a school where they'll be taught to be gay and eat soy and all that bollocks. But what happens when these kids leave home, if you even, let them leave home in the first place? They go out into the world and probably end up becoming even more indoctrinated in post-modernity because they've never been taught anything differently or told why all these things are bad and why our traditional life is good. Also, they never get taught any social skills because they never got to interact with any other children their age. So they just wind up unable to do anything for themselves, lowering their chances of meeting their own trad wife or whatever. It's like banning your kids from using the internet so they don't turn gay or, whatever. Yes, you obviously shouldn't allow your 5-year-old on the internet, but as they become teenagers, it's going to become a part of their lives. Teach them that not everything you see on the internet is true. Teach them what Hassan Piker spits out is wrong. Send them to a school so they can learn how the real world actually is, but also explain to them why that teacher might be wrong about there being 500 genders or whatever the fuck. Otherwise, you're no better than the Jehovah's Witnesses, and no one likes those bastards. Do not let religion seem like a cult. Now, I am not in any way, shape, or form suggesting, trying to say that what any of Tradwest promotes is necessarily bad. Rather just misguided about how to go about certain things, even if sometimes it is admittedly a bit cringy. This is all just constructive criticism, because it seems that Tradwest, like most conservative influences, are regressive and just want to hide away from our foes. There was a great man, and a great man once said that the right will only defeat the left and the centre if it's more creative, more energetic, more radical, more intelligent, more sassy, or cooler. That's the only way we'll win. The trouble with right-wing people, on the whole, is that they're sort of pessimistic, slightly unimaginative. They're deeply conservative people. They're very decent people, but they're conservative. You've got to be more radical than that. And it's true. We need to take the initiative if we're going to win. So you've got to become involved in art and filmmaking, be involved in debates around politics, march in the street in the name of a cause, educate your family properly if you have one, guide a possibly misguided and liberal girlfriend towards our way of thinking rather than just ignoring and giving up on modern women entirely. It's our civilization and we've got to fight for it. The time for being scared is over. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.